Sometimes there is so much more to know that you didn't know you needed to know. We're going to inform you some invaluable information, everybody. Stay tuned.
It's not St. Louis, but yeah.
There we are. Chit-chatting before we get to have a good discussion. Talking about cowboy hats and the fun stuff we do in the community. Gio, how long have you lived in the St. Louis area?
So I've been here since about 2004, 2005. Started with the Laborers Union, Local 773, and got introduced to some really fun, exciting construction work that led me into homes with mold.
I didn't realize it, but I had a recent little mold problem at another location, and we just took my buddy, I won't say the name of the brand because we're not trying to diminish anybody, but you can tell it had bleach in it. He just gave me a dissertation about how mold is one thing, mold is something else, and it literally it won't even potentially really fix the problem just based on the viscosity, the pores, the surface.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have an expert in the building here. I appreciate you. Thanks for joining us, Gio.
Yes.
First shout out, Your Little Castle, brought to you by Carroll House Furniture, because you like nice things in your little castle that you hopefully have had mold remediated. Nobody should live with mold at all, right?
Yes.
Maybe for a minute, but you better get it out. Long term, 2 weeks, a few days.
Everyone's different. It affects everybody differently, but it's definitely something that you don't want to invite into your home or just let colonize and grow and spread, usually unbeknownst to the homeowner.
Yeah, because it's something, it builds up over time. It's processing through your lungs and all that stuff too. So we're talking. But yes. Yeah, so Carroll House Furniture and a nice home that you get remediated, but also make sure you get a nicely cooled. Our most recent partner here, they provided us with our HVAC systems here. We actually have a Mitsubishi mini split. Does it feel nice and cool in here?
Feels great. Very comfortable.
Cold and then hot, and it's because I had air conditioning stuff, and but we've grown the show now and done well. And give a shout out to my buddy Adam and all the guys at Indoor Comfort Team. You can see him up there. I'm waiting for the logo to come up there. But with that, let's get into this a little bit about mold remediation. Personally, I've dealt with this in a couple instances. We caught it. We had a guy come in with a specialist. He didn't bother to explain to me all the details that I've gotten to gain some of that knowledge here from Mr. Delgado. But this is a serious issue that most people, you're telling me, they don't even know they've got this problem sometimes.
Yeah, so mold can grow definitely, hidden in your home. Usually one of the first places we like to look is the foundation of the home. That's usually one of the first questions I'll ask, whether you have a crawl space, a basement, or even a slab. We are, certified. We have over 40 certificates in our field. 2 of them are in concrete. And, 2 things you learn in the field in concrete: it's going to get hard and it's going to crack. So, if you got a slab, you're not, unfortunately, blanketed and protected. Sometimes those problems can be even more difficult to deal with because you have to get underneath that flooring to actually address the real issue. So yeah, mold is a major issue, and not even so much the mold, just necessarily the gases that the mold produces. That's what affects us. Those are those smells. The old house smell, add a letter, mold house smell, right? You say you got a cold, you're always getting a cold, change 1 letter. It's usually a mold. So pay attention to those things. Listen to your house just like you listen to your vehicle. If it's making a noise, get it checked out right away. If your house is making a smell or you're noticing water, get us over there. Get us to test the air in your home. Get us to do a surface sample of some visible possible microbial growth. Is it dust? Is it mold? We don't know unless we have microscopes on our eyes. So be aware of those inspectors that are claiming to say, well, it's mold if it crushes. If they're touching it, get them out of your house because it's sporulating. And that's one of the signs that they don't know what they're doing. And if they're saying, well, yeah, it looks like this type of mold, well, I'm sorry, but they legally cannot say that. It needs to be sent to an accredited laboratory and analyzed by a third party that's not affiliated with our company. Even though we're certified to analyze in-house, we send it off so we can protect you and say, hey, this is not just a mold company saying, hey, there's mold and we're going to come do the job. No, we're sending it to the best lab in the country that I've worked with, and I've worked with the top laboratories. They're maybe not the most nicest like you and me, but they're very strict with protocol, and I love their science. And we protect you with that by letting you know for a fact, is there a problem or not? No guessing.
Third-party independent source, I guess, is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Because they're unbiased at that point. They're saying
absolutely,
because it's great when the umpire is getting paid by the home team, right? You got to be careful with that one. But
yes.
yeah, literally, like you want to have an independent source that will verify this, because everybody's certified and all of the other things tested, and that's what you want somebody to be able to do.
Absolutely. It's a legal way to do it. It's the right way to do it. You know, some people ask me, hey, Gio, you've been in this business for over 20 years. You know what mold is. No. I've been in situations that look great. They're elevated test results. Black mold even. I've been in situations that look horrible. Non-elevated levels. No black mold. 50-50 chance. Everybody. And I'm talking brand new homes, 100-year-old homes, you name it. Mansions, mini homes, you know, the small homes,
Right.
tiny homes.
Tiny homes.
It doesn't matter what it is. Indoor gardens even, you know, we can adjust your VPD if you're into that, or your proper humidity. Make sure you got the right airflow. Make sure you're using the right components in your home they're not prone to mold growth. Like anybody who has fiberglass in their crawl space, it shouldn't be there. It's a porous material set on the top of your crawl space that absorbs the humidity that rises on it. There's definitely mold there. We take out fiberglass insulation tons and tons a year, and it gets disposed of. Don't waste your money. Call us first. We'll save you thousands.
Well, yeah, you're really talking about the value of your home here. You can. I've heard of some houses. This is true. They can become condemned because there's so much mold that it's destroyed the structure of the house, and you get to where it's in the wood and the studs. Now you've got a big problem, and something you should definitely do. Plus the health concerns that you have with it.
Yeah, so let me make somebody aware. First of all, we won't condemn your home, even though, yes, what you're saying can happen with other entities. We're the good guys. We're here to help. We're not coming to say, hey, we're not calling the city and saying they need to do this. No, we're here to help you. So whether you're a homeowner, whether you're a tenant seeking help and the homeowner's not doing it, and you need some type of legal assisted documentation to state, yes, there's a problem, because sometimes I tell people, I hate to say it, but it's like we're the Ghostbusters. I'm in either the wife is at home and the husband's at work and he's not experiencing the issues. It's so common. And he comes home, he says, well, I don't see it, I don't smell it, and I don't feel it, almost like it's a ghost in the house. And where does it lay at? In the scariest parts of the home where no one wants to go, in the basement, in the crawl space, and we go in there just like those Ghostbusters. And I never found the ghost yet, but it's always mold, and we kill it, and that's why I tell people we're the mold busters.
There you go. Well, I from somebody, like I said, personally dealt with that in a couple instances on properties that I was helping to manage, and it wasn't a major issue at the time. And we did talk to some experts, but they gave us some advice. But again, they didn't give me near the depth of the knowledge that you have here. And now you're making me think, hopefully we got everything. I might have Gio come out and check out some of our properties to verify this, because bottom line is you do not want this in there. It can cause health issues and depreciation of values.
Yes.
This is the most valuable asset most people have.
Yes.
Is their home. Is it just a matter of, is it always caused by, whenever there's moisture, whenever there's water, you're likely, if it stays there for too long, you're going to get some mold?
Very good question, and I get that asked a lot. So, yes, if there's water, in 12 hours, that little bit of time, mold can grow. Other companies may say 24, but technically it's 12. But sometimes when there's not even water, there's moisture. For example, again, I hate to keep, putting the crawl space in the corner like it's the bad guy, because actually they're the most inexpensive foundations to remediate.
Okay.
And they're not fun, but they can get done. So if there's no water, for example, but you have vents, in southern, the area where we're at, right, by the rivers, you get this humidity coming in, and again, humidity will rise. So 9 times out of 10, the worst place in a crawl space that's affected by mold, it's right by the vents. And the vents are supposed to allow the air to flow, but it's not constant, and the humidity level is not where it needs to be. So we want to condition that space. We want to seal it up, and we want to take control of that humidity, which we definitely can do with a lifetime guarantee.
There you go, everybody. Notice that lifetime guarantee for mold removal. That's important because it's going to help. Because how often is it? You think you got it all, but a couple years later, you're saying you come in and take care of that still even a time later.
More often than not, that we've been there after 2 or 3 companies have actually attempted remediation and have failed. It's very difficult for us to deal with clients at that point because it's emotional. They get doubtful, so I always tell people, as much as possible so they understand the process. And I don't have a problem doing that and explaining that. But yeah, it's something that, it's funny because technology is always advancing, but in our methods, we actually use one of the most basic, God-made fundamental products, which is based in hydrogen peroxide, which is air and water, and a very strong form of borax, which is completely non-toxic. Our entire process is non-toxic. You can stay in your home while we're remediating it. You don't have to leave. The sanitizers that we use, hydroxyl, it's very efficient. If you want to, do a little research on that, again, it's non-toxic. It's something that takes place naturally in the environment, just like ozone. But ozone you can't run while you're in the home, or the same thing with the plants. But we use processes that you do not have to leave your home for the most part. Again, there are some extreme situations where it's a whole house contaminated with mold and it's just not safe to be in it. So we've had to have, very few instances where the homeowner really should leave so we can pretty much remediate the entire house. That's definitely not always the case. And you will have some companies that will state everything needs to be removed in all situations. That's definitely not the case, but there are these cases.
We're off of the beaten path here for what I'm just getting so much into.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I like it because I'm like, skip over a couple of things because this is more important.
Sure.
But literally, like, we were talking about in our pregame prep, we were in the bullpen, everybody. This is the bullpen, by the way, too, the Cardinal Cowboy baseball. But is it true that by treating this the wrong way, you can cause more toxic fumes, you were saying,
Yes.
and make this potentially more damage to
Yes.
your lungs or whatever,
Yes.
if you don't handle it the right way either.
Yes,
People
so-
say, go get bleach. Well, there's some issues with that, too. Explain
Absolutely.
that for me.
So there's a huge lack of information. I mean, as we just noticed with the computer, we could type remediation in a Word document and it shows up as it's misspelled. There's a huge lack of information on remediation as we're currently experiencing. So my problem with products about mold and the toxicities are most of my fellow Americans, including myself, I don't read the back of every package. And if I'm looking for if I have a mold problem and I've got all these other issues in life, I just want to go to the store, pick up something that says mold killer and spray it and I'm done, right? And go back on with life. Well, unfortunately, most and almost all of those products that are on the shelf are not for the substrates, which is basically the area that we're trying to remediate. So for example, most of these products clearly state in the back of the bottle that they are for non-porous surfaces such as glass, metal, ceramic, your siding. Okay, technically mold can't even grow on those surfaces. It can only settle. So what are we doing? And then if we're trying to remediate a surface such as drywall or wood where mold actually colonizes, these products should not be used there. First of all, they won't work according to the manufacturer details.
It says it right there on the packaging.
And
Which
thirdly,
people don't read. 97% of people don't even read the packaging. I'm looking up some stats for texting's a big thing for what we do to help people market.
Yeah.
And it said you got to have a disclaimer and a terms and services. And I started looking it up. I'm like, what percentage of people actually? 91 to 97% of people never even read that. It's right in front of them, and they're about to. Wow, that's not so critical if it's a text message you didn't want to receive. But if you're talking about mold, that's going to be growing in places where you thought it couldn't, and you're treating it for stuff where it doesn't.
yeah.
Now you haven't even treated the problem.
No, and I hate to make bleach my enemy because it does have its applications in outdoor situations. And I'll tell you, if I wash my house, I'll use bleach and I wear my respirator. Why? Because bleach releases gases known as VOCs, volatile organic compounds. The gases in bleach tear the lining in your esophagus and in your lungs. So that's why everything smells so different after you use a bleach product, especially indoors. It's supposed to be heavily ventilated. So what I tell my clients, whether they hire us or not, well, Giovanni, what can I do to protect myself? You can use hydrogen peroxide. Again, made by God, air and water. It kills 100% of molds, and guess what? It's completely non-toxic. You can gargle with it, you can take sips of it, you can bathe in it. If you drink a little too much of it, I've heard some adverse effects, so I don't recommend just sitting here and guzzling hydrogen peroxide.
You're not even going as far as saying everybody should, for the true purposes of what you're telling people to treat, just rub it on that surface.
Spray it on there.
Put in a little spray aerosol, one of those pump cans, and then
get a old Windex bottle. Put it in there. Do not. I repeat, do not add water to it. You don't want to dilute it. Add a few drops of dish soap that acts as a surfactant. Put it in a Windex bottle. Shake it up. Spray it. Wait 7 minutes. Allow the mold to die. Wipe it. Spray again, and continue that process until you're happy with the clean.
There you go. Experts sharing some of their trade secrets with you to help everybody. All right, everybody. We're going to take a quick break, show you some of the exciting fun we get to have in the community, and we'll be back here in just a minute. Will Bates, everybody, will be inspired. Tell me about the event you got going on here.
Oh, we got a golf tournament today. Got some people coming out to support our military veterans and first responders. Everything that we raise today goes towards benefiting them, mental and physical health, overall wellness, wellness retreats, outdoor retreats, gym memberships. You think of it, you name it. That's what we do. So this is all to benefit them. I appreciate everybody coming out and taking action. Thank you.
We're at Old Hickory Golf Course. Been here for a number of events. Great crowd here.
Yeah.
How many people turn out for this thing so far?
There'll be at least 170 people here.
170 golfers, everybody. All right, if they need the Cardinal Cowboy to give out some free golf lessons, I might be doing that later. Don't wait for that. Don't wait for that.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Giddy up. We'll see you guys. Giddy up.
His name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. Hey everybody, Cardinal Cowboy here. I want to invite all of you to be part of my new team. No, you don't have to put on a baseball uniform and be a super fan. Now, it would be a good idea to cheer for the Cardinals, the greatest team in the history of the National League. But I'm talking about the Gold Cowboy team. You know, I love to help people follow their dreams and reach their goals in business and in life. So that's one of the reasons why I'm telling you about my friends at My Metal Pro. They help people like you and I acquire gold and silver with a membership that lets you safely buy, sell, and store gold and silver. They make it real easy to get started. My Metal Pro isn't like the big guys you see on network TV or the big coin shops that take a huge commission. So become part of my Gold Cowboy team. Scan the QR code or go to goldcowboy.com and check it out. Giddy up! Well, there you have it, everybody. And Gio and I were talking a little bit about gold. It is one of the preferred methods for saving for your future. I didn't realize it had outperformed the stock market since, I think it's 2010 at 13.3%, which is better than the S&P. So crazy.
That's pretty impressive.
But get rid of your gold. I'm sorry. Get rid of your mold and go buy some gold. How about that?
There you go.
And give a shout out there. I'll say it. This is where we put the hat on, everybody. Get rid of your, and I probably should put it on the front way, right? Get rid of your mold and go buy some gold. goldcowboy.com, everybody. Well, thank you for that. All right, so as we get in there, we're going to help people save a lot of money with regard to the value of their house. This is important because you can get big depreciation. They have to do inspections. I've got my mortgage license, and this whole show was originally designed around the whole real estate world. And we figured out that a lot of people just say, hey, let's talk about all those things related to the home. But as one who knows this, because I've dealt with it a couple times on homes, like they go in for that inspection, and if they find mold, you got a problem.
Yes.
That must be remediated immediately, or you can't sell the house.
Yes, selling. A lot of our clients are people that are selling the home. Sometimes people that are buying the home. It's a very wise decision to make to do some testing and do an inspection, even if you just purchased a home. It can be bargaining power before you've purchased a home. Usually, the sellers are willing to work with you if you can, find the problem and address it before the closing. Some people applying for programs that give you assistance to update your HVAC system or whatnot. They do an assessment, and if mold is found, they will not. It disqualifies you, and you have to remediate it properly and get that certified before you can move on with that process. So there comes some times where people absolutely need our assistance for many reasons, and sometimes just it's affecting your health. You're finally realizing like, hey, no, these are not normal issues. The doctor suggests a mold test or a buddy smelling it on you, and people call us, and then we find out the problem. But yeah, it's definitely something that can hurt your pockets in many ways.
Yeah, we'll get to the root of that cause, everybody, because that's important.
Yes.
But we'd like to also show off a little bit about what people are saying about our guests here too, because Google reviews, everybody. That's what people go to look at these days, and you've done a great job here. 5.0, 68 reviews. That's got to make you feel kind of cool. A lot of people have good things to say about you.
It does. I love when, it was a little embarrassing at first because people were calling me out by name, and it got to a point where I kind of got used to that. And I really like the fact that, every one of those reviews are solid, honest reviews. I don't purchase reviews from anybody. I do ask, say, if you're happy, please, give us a review. And I've been overwhelmed with the feedback that we've gotten from some of the clients. Some clients we've worked for, and some of them we've just inspected, and they were so pleased with the information that we provided and the service that they decided to give us a review. So I'm very, very grateful for everybody. We treat everybody like family, and I love what I do. I love my clients.
Well, you can tell the passion that Gio has here in his heart. He gets into this, and it's an important role. I mean, I've just dealt with it. I know what this is like. This is something that is very vital. I'm going to read off a couple of reviews here. We got a couple of people said some nice things here. But Gio has done such a great job getting the help that my family needed while keeping the prices reasonable and fair. Even with me being deployed, Gio's been keeping me up to date on everything happening and price estimations. Highly recommend anyone local or non-local, and meaning that you'll travel too. Yes. And you said up to 3 hours generally you'll go to.
Yeah, we get called a lot, especially. Sorry, that made me emotional because that guy's fighting for our country, and his family's dealing with some rough mold. And I feel that. And I feel extremely honored to be able to be there for my clients, even if they can't see me. I've never physically met this guy. And to represent him as he represents our country, it just means so much to me. It's an honor to serve in that way. So yeah, I love to help people. I bend over backwards, break my back. Crawling in crawl spaces for my clients, and I won't complain. I love it. I love it. It's a service that I do with honor. And yeah, I'm sorry. I don't think I answered your question. That touched me there.
Well, I think the answer is apparent. This is obviously something you're very passionate about. I'm an emotional guy too. I'll tear up sometimes, and it's because you put your heart, your passion, your livelihood, everything that you stand for. Yeah. You put into your business because you start these businesses. We start these businesses because we enjoy helping people, and that's why we wanted to start a show that could highlight and spotlight the leaders in our community doing that. So,
thank you.
I might have to get him a tissue, but I appreciate you. Yes. I do have some over here, I think, actually. Yeah. But he's a tough guy. He's going to get it. But it hit me a little bit too because wow, this guy was like out of the country, serving, protecting us overseas. And you stepped up and said, hey, I got you, I'll take care of this. And he even talked about it in the review. Yeah. Imagine the rest of the reviews, everybody. I won't go through all of them, but there are 68 of them here. And again, I'll put these up so you can just take a glance at them. And everything, people mentioning Gio by name. Gio. Gio. Thank you, Stephen. Gio, my wife, cystic fibrosis help Gio and Alex. So good work, man.
Thank you.
I'll give you some.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
That's what we're looking for here, everybody. All right, as we get into it here, we're almost through the first half hour, and we've got a little bit more we want to talk to with specifics. But give me that cost analysis. I can only imagine there's a lot of people that are going, well, wait a minute, I don't have $30,000 to clean out my house or whatever.
Yes.
What is it that people are at risk? How do you do this the right way?
Yes.
When do you cut corners? When do you not?
Yeah.
How do you help people? You talked about even hydrogen
Yes.
peroxide and ways that people can remediate some of this on their
Yeah.
own, but you want to help them either way.
Just a lot of information, a lot of answers. So first of all, anything beyond 10 square feet, legally I can't recommend go do it yourself. You should get a professional. So let's be realistic with that. Aside from that, testing is very important and crucial in remediation before anything is done. Before you begin moving items or trying to spray this or that on it, you need to know what you're dealing with. It's just like going to the doctor and getting an x-ray like we talked about before. If your elbow hurts and you go in there and you say, replace my elbow, if the doctor's ready to do it, run. That doctor doesn't know what he's talking about. But if the doctor says, let's do some x-rays, then he probably went to school, right? Yeah. Now, if he says, let's x-ray the elbow, the shoulder, and the wrist, then he's experienced. That's your doctor, right? And that's us. So we've been around the block a long time. We help what's supposed to be our competitors to help these situations because there's so much mold on there, lack of information. So yeah, testing is crucial. It can save, oh gosh, this guy just saved $9,000 a few weeks ago by testing. Had he treated it as if it was mold or black mold or an elevated situation, he would have spent $9,000. The testing that cost him a few hundred, right, about $500, literally saved him $9,000. That was less than 2 weeks ago. So I've been in situations where people try to cut corners, as you say, and not test, and the problem is still there, and we haven't identified where. Working backwards, it costs more because then we still have to test and try to identify what's the source. It's not always the most visible situation. I've seen situations where mold is growing on the 3rd floor of a mini mansion and it started in the basement.
Well, yeah, mold knows no bounds, and wherever it can get what it needs, and it's generally moisture.
Yes.
And go on from there. Is that
yes. So the moisture is a culprit, of course, and then the substrate, the whatever materials around it that can it thrive there. But sometimes the air movement in the home, which cannot be controlled or even explained, is the air traveling to one specific, particular part. One room, and you're like, well, why is this room? It's just the way the air is flowing. Or are you going on vacation and shutting things off or closing off rooms that aren't used very often and creating a problem sometimes? So sometimes a phone call can give you so much information that could even prevent a problem from occurring.
We've got a lot more to cover. We're going to do another half hour here in a minute. Before we go, I know you've got a pretty cool device that helps you detect this. You want to at least pull it out. The second show we may go over this in more depth, but as we got about 30 seconds left here, and Gio
this is the most updated, and I really like this mold air testing device. And we put a little sampling cassette on it, bring it into your home, and just basically run an air test for about 5 minutes per room or per area, and it'll give you enough information that the laboratory can analyze with a microscope, and tell us. They'll actually count the spores. They'll take the time and count and identify the different types and tell you if you actually have a problem in that room or not, because it's not naked to the eye, unfortunately. We have to capture that.
Stay tuned for the second show, everybody. Lots more to cover. We'll be back. Giddy up.